Is it just me, or is it starting to feel like this whole Codex versus Claude Code battle is starting to pick a very clear lane? So we know both of these monsters launched one of the best LLMs in the last week. So Claude Code obviously launched Opus 4.7 and Codex launched GPT 5.5. Both of them off the charts. They're crazy powerful. You can pretty much build anything, but the approach is very different. It feels like Claude Code is going after enterprise. They're going after the developers, the tech heads. And Codex, on the other hand, is saying, we have the same power of the LLMs, but we're going after the actual consumer to be able to build stuff easily. This has an eerie resemblance of Apple versus Microsoft. And obviously Codex is Apple in this situation, where they're basically saying, we don't need you to know how the sausage is made. You're just gonna be able to do it. And the best part that they're leaning heavily into is computer use. So they just launched their computer use. It's crazy powerful, go try it. And essentially you just tell Codex, hey, take control of my computer. It's extremely powerful, it's fast. And that's how we're gonna be using the computers in the future, which is letting our agents do what we would be doing on the computer. Versus Claude Code is like, hey, let me give you access to APIs and MCPs and all of the backend and all the databases and file systems and all that stuff. Powerful still, but a very different approach. But the one thing we know for sure is agentic AI is here. OpenClaw, Cowork, all of those systems are going to become the predominant way to do anything. That's why you need to be learning those systems. Go set up your OpenClaw. We have a full training in my profile from start to finish. Also play with Cowork. Use those other systems. Hermes now is coming up because that is the future and it's very clear. So who ends up winning in the end? We really don't know. But for me, seeing under the hood how a lot of this stuff works, I think this is kind of going away. I think Codex approach to letting the average person be able to talk using natural language, come up with ideas on a very nice, clean UI and UX experience where who cares how it's actually happening under the hood. It's been proven that pretty much anybody now with no technical skills can build things, and it's only gonna get more powerful. But I still think with OpenClaw and all these agents that are coming, and we already know Claude Code is jumping all into that with Cowork and now they're integrating it into their whole ecosystem, that is the future. So if your agent can actually just control your computer better than you, faster than you, and do a lot more than you, that does make sense to me than integrating some backend systems and APIs and MCPs. But also the one caveat here is Google and Amazon and Apple, I believe, and I've been saying this for about a year now, I think they're going to come into the space and they're going to completely dominate because they're going to go local. Google's already doing that with all their local models, and Apple is going to basically just rent all of the LLMs inside of their platform, which is what Apple does. It's pretty genius. And not to mention Amazon, because obviously they're the biggest one in the space that's just kind of sitting back and watching. So a lot going on. And last I'll mention is Chinese models. We know China's open sourced everything, so it's a lot going on. It's kind of nuts. I'd love to know what you guys think. I use them both. I have max plans on both. They both offer different experiences, but I think in the end, what's going to happen is I do think the user-friendly UI UX experience like Apple did back in the day is going to prevail. And then that's all going to integrate into the systems that we use today, which is Apple and Google. Damn, that was a mouthful. Have a great weekend.